Today we're going to start using circles to draw overlapping form, and with certain models it's very helpful to use this method. But first we need to warm up our wrists. In this case we want to practice drawing spherical forms, and let's just kind of hover over the paper first, and then once you're settled, start pressing in a little bit harder. You're using your vine charcoal, hovering until you can get that circle. And let's go ahead and make 15. And you can make them small and bigger and overlapping. You just want to watch out that you're not making circles that are all solid all the way through like that. So naturally, when you're practicing this, you're going to get some variation in terms of the mark making, which is a good thing. Okay, so you're following along, you're doing this with me on your larger newsprint. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to vary the scale of the spheres, and we're going to put one in front of the other, kind of like making a snowman, right? Go from large and start maybe changing the shape. And really what we're practicing is practicing being more fluid in overlapping some of these forms. Loosening up our wrists. Okay, once we've done that, let's go ahead and indicate some sort of overlap where we can emphasize that this shape is in front of the other. And same thing here. Okay. And then we quiet down the inside line. So how do we do that? Like so. Quiet down the inside line. Show some overlap. So let's do that. We will naturally do it, like if we know that we're drawing a snowman, for example, right? To see one line sitting in front of the other. So now what I want us to do is go from a small circle to a large one, and then kind of like a pear, and go ahead and connect it. Okay, small circle. So kind of like looking at structure. Keep it very, very soft because this is figure construction, and then connect the outside edges like so. Let's do that again. So we're going to draw a whole bunch of these, and we're going to keep it all very, very soft, and we're going to add a soft edge that connects and flows from one form to the next. So you're following along, drawing all of these with me. Let's go from large to small this time. When we go to draw the figure, we're going to want to naturally see these shapes and naturally flow from one shape to the next. And this is giving us the practice. It's also wearing down our charcoal to be just right for our hand. Let's go bigger. It seems silly, I know, but this does make a difference, especially once we start drawing the figure and you start getting a little bit uncomfortable. right? And thinking. So start changing the scale. Notice how I made more of an oval shape on this one. And so I'm going to make another oval shape. Maybe that would be the torso. And maybe this would be like the hips to the buttocks, right? On a seated figure. And then maybe the side of the back, right? So you sort of start imagining the figure, right? Sitting here, and you'll see how that can work. Okay, so that's the first page of exercises. And let me turn the page here. And I'll show you some examples. So now here, as you look at these drawings, you can see that this method and these circles are being put to use, right? So look at the oval here and maybe the circular shape for the top of the hip to the upper leg, right? Here, oval, hip, buttocks, kind of an oval for the legs. And look at the overlap here on the calf. Same here. So the nice thing is you can see the work or the analysis that's happening under the drawing, and then the more sharp line along the outside edges. There's another one. This is part of your homework page, so you're going to copy these as you see them and show the work, show these forms. Notice the overlap that happens here on the belly of the baby. Babies are perfect to draw this way. And notice here, like if you can see the size of the head and then the shape of the body, then all of a sudden that sort of takes care of the foreshortening, right? Or here, if you can look at the circle on the belly, the circle of the torso, the breasts which sit on top of that, and then the head, and then all of a sudden you've taken care of the torso. Here, oval, overlap on the pelvis, and then here as well. There's a great example where you can see the compression, so the extension of the back, and the compression of the body in the front, where we can see the folds, right? And then locking in and noticing where the head goes, and then just a subtle indication on the neck as well here as well. A wonderful, very, very rapid drawing here. Circle. So let's try that one. See if we can stay on camera here. So circle for the buttocks. Okay. Oval for the back. Noticing the angle of the oval. Center line for the spine, right? Notice the legs. And we want to keep these lines super soft so that we can work on top of them. And then we place the head and then the bun. Now, once we have that, then we can go in and start putting in the details that we see, right? We can imagine the body here. And you want to keep your lines, remember we practiced the C and the S curves. You want to keep those lines fluid and open, and then you can draw inside the form in order to locate, well, where's the arm going to go? Do I want it extended, right? So that's a very, very quick gesture of the back of the torso. Here's another one. This is a beautiful pose, and we can see where we can try to find the circles. So looking at the circle for the hips and the torso, and then find the overall shape of the body. Find the overlap here. Overlap. The overlap of the leg. So you can go oval here for the leg. Here on this leg, right? And then all of a sudden, you start to get more and more information. Sorry, it's hard to talk and draw at the same time. But you can generally see that it's starting to fall into place, especially once we start adding the overlapping form. Right? So then you can do a very fast gesture of the body and really pay attention to where you have these overlaps. So like there, right, there. So you look for the folds on the body, the knee, right? And you can look at the angles or the direction or the center line. Okay, so I'll show you some more samples. So you can see some quick gestures, some quick how the circles were applied to these gesture drawings. These were probably 1 minute or 30 seconds. There's another one. So you can look at how on this full figure, circle for the lower body, kind of looking for that pear shape, right? And then starting to come in and add all of the information. Now, the knees could be handled as another oval, and then the other knee here, so looking at the angle, right? And then you can draw into that, or imagine that the knee is then, imagine the body under that knee, right? And if you keep it loose, then you're able to make adjustments as you go. But very, very quickly, you can take a pretty complex pose and get it to fall into place. And you are having to imagine, or imagine that you can see underneath these shapes. Right? I just made a quick study based on this. One and a half minutes. So here on this 1.5 minute drawing, I can go over it and I can start, it still has a lot of work to go, but I can basically start to go over it and emphasize, like I said, those overlaps. And the more you draw, the more you know where these overlaps happen, and then you start looking for them in your drawings. So hopefully this helps, and you can practice staying loose and gestural and flowing. Don't get super, super worried about getting very, very tight or tightly render your drawings. For this unit, it is about flow and movement.